Many people will not have heard of the small town in Iowa called Farrar, and it's hardly surprising as it nowadays only contains a church, a few houses and an old shut down school. But even though you might think nothing much happens here, for decades the school has had reports of paranormal activity taking place here regularly. Who are the spirits? And what made them decide to stick around? In 1919, a local farmer named C.C. Jedis decided to donate 6 acres of his farmland so that a school could be built, one that would accommodate the growing population. You see, farm-heavy regions were prospering, and the nearby Des Moines had also constructed a rail line which helped with the rapid expansion to the area. The hefty price tag of $100,000 to build, though, did cause a lot of controversy with the locals. But even so, on April 1st, 1922, people travelled from miles around to witness the opening ceremony of the school, boasting an orchestra and banquet dinner. Besides, there was much to celebrate as this school had many technological advancements that others didn't have, including electric lighting, indoor plumbing, as well as boiler heating. Due to its size of over 17,000 square feet, Farrar School took in children from neighbouring towns, becoming an educational centre for numerous communities. Even when farming communities were hit hard during the 1970s and 80s, this school continued to thrive. But like many stories, the good luck couldn't last forever. By the early 2000s, as technology and needs changed, the Farrar School became outdated and finally was to close its doors for good. On May 3rd, 2002, in the same way that it opened, it closed with a celebration that included a banquet and orchestra. Once this school was so full of life, and now it seemed destined to sit, abandoned, rotting away with each passing year. But it didn't have to wait long, as in 2006, Jim and Nancy Oliver decided to buy the building in the hopes of turning the property into a home for their family. Little did they know, the school was already occupied, and those locked inside were ready to meet the new residents. You see, there was an open secret at Farrar School between staff and students, one that many might ridicule. The school was haunted. There were frequent reports from those at the school of ghosts wandering the hallways as well as slamming doors throughout. All this was carrying on when the couple tried to make the old school their home. But Jim and Nancy weren't going to let the unrest send them packing. So who was making their presence known? Well, perhaps the most well-known is an entity with a very domineering persona that many believe might once have been the principal of the school at one point. He lingers around the top floor office and appears as a very tall, dark shadow figure. His entity has been drawn by psychic investigators and is hung in the building today. As you journey into the boiler room, there is a spirit said to linger here that is thought to be a janitor. Many people have seen his spirit lurking in the shadows, and it seems his ghost doesn't want people bothering him in his afterlife, as he's been heard yelling, "Get out!" to visitors in this area. What does seem unusual though is that in the old boiler room area, the sound of children talking and playing can also be heard. But isn't this a strange place for young spirits to hang out? In my mind, add together children and boiler rooms and Freddy Krueger creeps up. Another strange thing experienced by many is the sudden odours that will appear in certain rooms. These can be pleasant or downright nasty, and is something that has been going on for many years now with no explanation. So as you can see, many paranormal occurrences take place at Farrar School, but other items include knocking and crashing sounds that echo around the building, opening and closing of doors that were known to be shut originally. There are even toys situated around the old school which will move on their own by unseen hands, as if still being played with after all this time. So where do the spirits come from? Many believe that it might be children and staff that grew a fond attachment to the place. Maybe a life-changing event took place while they were working or learning in the building, and a part of them ended up here after death. Another theory is that maybe entities from the cemetery just across the road are congregating at the school. What are your theories? Who do you think is trapped inside the school? Or maybe you feel that people in this circumstance have an overactive imagination. Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, dissectors, stay safe out there.